ਜੋ ਮੰਗੈ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਤੇ ਸੋਈ ਸੋਈ ਦੇ। ਜੋ ਮੰਗੈ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਤੇ ਸੋਈ ਸੋਈ ਦੇ। ਨਾਨਕ ਦਾਸ ਮੁਖ ਤੇ ਜੋ ਬੋਲੇ, ਨਾਨਕ ਦਾਸ ਮੁਖ ਤੇ ਜੋ ਬੋਲੇ, ਇਹਾ ਉਹਾ ਸਚ ਹੋਵੇ, ਇਹਾ ਉਹਾ ਸਚ ਹੋਵੇ। ਜੋ ਮੰਗੈ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਤੇ ਸੋਈ ਸੋਈ ਦੇਵੈ। ਜੋ ਮੰਗੈ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਤੇ ਸੋਈ ਸੋਈ ਦੇਵੈ। ਸੋਈ ਸੋਈ ਦੇਵੈ, 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 ਸੋਈ ਸੋਈ ਦੇਵੈ। ਜੋ ਮੰਗੈ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਤੇ ਸੋਈ ਸੋਈ ਦੇਵੈ। ਜੋ ਮੰਗੈ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਤੇ ਸੋਈ ਸੋਈ ਦੇਵੈ। ਚਤੁਰ ਦਿਸ਼ਾ ਕੀਨੋ ਬਲ ਆਪਣਾ, ਚਤੁਰ ਦਿਸ਼ਾ ਕੀਨੋ ਬਲ ਆਪਣਾ, ਸਿਰ ਉਪਰ ਕਰ ਮਾਰਿਓ। ਚਤੁਰ ਦਿਸ਼ਾ ਕੀਨੋ ਬਲ ਆਪਣਾ, ਸਿਰ ਉਪਰ ਕਰ ਮਾਰਿਓ। ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਟਾਖ ਅਵਲੋਕਨ ਕੀਨੋ, ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਟਾਖ ਅਵਲੋਕਨ ਕੀਨੋ, ਦਾਸ ਕਾ ਦੁਖ ਬਿਦਾਰਿਓ। ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਟਾਖ ਅਵਲੋਕਨ ਕੀਨੋ, ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਟਾਖ ਅਵਲੋਕਨ ਕੀਨੋ, ਦਾਸ ਕਾ ਦੁਖ ਬਿਦਾਰਿਓ, ਦਾਸ ਕਾ ਦੁਖ ਬਿਦਾਰਿਓ। ਜੋ ਮੰਗੈ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਤੇ ਸੋਈ ਸੋਈ ਦੇਵੈ। ਜੋ ਮੰਗੈ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਤੇ ਸੋਈ ਸੋਈ ਦੇਵੈ। ਨਾਨਕ ਦਾਸ ਮੁਖ ਤੇ ਜੋ ਬੋਲੇ, 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 ਇਹਾ ਉਹਾ ਸਚ ਹੋਵੇ, ਇਹਾ ਉਹਾ ਸਚ ਹੋਵੇ। ਜੋ ਮੰਗੈ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਤੇ ਸੋਈ ਸੋਈ ਦੇਵੈ। ਜੋ ਮੰਗੈ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਤੇ ਸੋਈ ਸੋਈ ਦੇਵੈ। ਹਰ ਜਨ ਰਾਖੇ ਗੁਰ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ, ਰਾਖੇ ਗੁਰ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ। ਰਾਖੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਕੰਠ ਲਾਏ ਅਵਗੁਣ ਸਭ ਮੇਟੇ ਕੰਠ ਲਾਏ ਅਵਗੁਣ ਸਭ ਮੇਟੇ ਦਇਆਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਬਖਸ਼ੰਦ ਕੰਠ ਲਾਏ ਅਵਗੁਣ ਸਭ ਮੇਟੇ ਕੰਠ ਲਾਏ ਅਵਗੁਣ ਸਭ ਮੇਟੇ ਦਇਆਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਬਖਸ਼ੰਦ ਦਇਆਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਬਖਸ਼ੰਦ ਜੋ ਮੰਗੈ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਤੇ ਸੋਈ ਸੋਈ ਦੇਵੈ ਜੋ ਮੰਗੈ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਤੇ ਸੋਈ ਸੋਈ ਦੇਵੈ ਨਾਨਕ ਦਾਸ ਮੁਖ ਤੇ ਜੋ ਬੋਲੇ 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 ਇਹਾਂ ਉਹਾਂ ਸਚ ਹੋਵੇ ਇਹਾਂ ਉਹਾਂ ਸਚ ਹੋਵੇ ਜੋ ਮੰਗੈ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਤੇ ਸੋਈ ਸੋਈ ਦੇਵੈ ਜੋ ਮੰਗੈ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਤੇ ਸੋਈ ਸੋਈ ਦੇਵੈ 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 ਸੋਈ ਸੋਈ ਦੇਵੈ
चंदा बिरहारा के बदला चलूक गया बदला चलूक गया मेरी आँखियाँ ना पानी भी सूख गया पानी भी सूख गया मुक गई सारी रात वे होई बर्बाद है तू अज भी नहाया की करा मेरे सोने या दिल भर भर आया सावन दा तू लाल जी की पाल जी सारे जगदा तू हाली आए तेरे दरबा जी चोली भर दे हो खाली सारी उमरा तेरी तांग विच रोवांगी तांग विच रोवांगी झूठी है सहज सच्ची सेज उते सोवांगी सेज उते सोवांगी सारी उमर तेरी टांग विच रोवांगी टांग विच रोवांगी झूठी है सेज सच्ची सेज उते सोवांगी सेज उते
Hello everyone, welcome to today's satsang. So today I am reading this. Today I am singing the Shabad. The title of the song is Guru Meri Puja, meaning the Guru is my worship. Then Michael will give us the introduction. Then Mahibji is going to read about what is true living. Then we'll have a short dhyan session of 5 minutes, and then we'll play YouTube video, and then we'll do group meditation with love and devotion. So thank you so much. I'll read the translation of my Shabad first. Guru is my worship, and Guru is my Lord. Guru is my Lord Almighty, and Guru is my Supreme Master. Guru is my imperceptible and inaccessible, all luminous Lord. All serve and worship my Guru's holy feet. Without Guru, I have no other abode. Day and night, I worship Guru's name. Guru is my Lord Almighty, and Guru is my Supreme Master. So here the Shabad goes. जित बिथरावे तिथ ही बैठो, जो पहरावे सोई सोई पहरो। मेरी उनकी प्रीत पुरानी, बेचे तो बिक जाऊं। गुरु मेरी पूजा, गुरु गोविंद, गुरु मेरा पार ब्रह्म, गुरु भगवंत। गुरु मेरी पूजा, गुरु गोविंद, गुरु मेरा पार ब्रह्म, गुरु भगवंत। गुरु मेरा देव अलग अभेयो, सर्वे पूजे चरण गुरु सेऊ। गुरु मेरी पूजा, गुरु गोविंद, गुरु मेरा पार ब्रह्म, गुरु भगवंत। गुरु मेरी पूजा, गुरु गोविंद, गुरु मेरा पार ब्रह्म, गुरु भगवंत। गुरु के चरण धोए धोए पीवा, गुरु का दर्शन देख देख जीवा। गुरु बिन अवर नाही मैं ठाऊं, आन दीन जप है गुरु नाऊ। गुरु मेरी पूजा, गुरु गोविंद, गुरु मेरा पार ब्रह्म, गुरु भगवंत। गुरु मेरी पूजा, गुरु गोविंद, गुरु मेरा पार ब्रह्म, गुरु भगवंत। गुरु मेरा ज्ञान, गुरु हृदय ध्यान, गुरु गोपाल पूरख भगवान। गुरु मेरी पूजा, गुरु गोविंद, गुरु मेरा पार ब्रह्म, गुरु भगवंत। गुरु मेरी पूजा, गुरु गोविंद, गुरु मेरा पार ब्रह्म, गुरु भगवंत। गुरु मेरी पूजा, भगवंत गुरु मेरी पूजा. Thank you so much, Michael.
Vinaya, that was marvelous.
Thank you
Thank,
so much.
thank you so much. I loved it. I love your voice. Thank you, dear sister. Great seva. My dear holy family, my brothers and my sisters, forms of my master, forms of God. You're all forms of my master, forms of God. And the saints and masters say that in the beginning of our journey, we are lost in the forest of wandering. Then we seek. Then, after our seeking, our thirst is quenched. We meet the Guru. And when we meet the Guru, then we are with God. First step is that we are with God. And then we become God. As my master Sant Singh used to say, that the first step is that we are with God. God takes a seat in our soul. Master sits next to our soul, and as a doctor, as we need a doctor to make us into a doctor, the same thing, God in us makes us into himself. So the journey is like this: first we are with God, and then we grow in our soul, and our soul merges with the oversoul, and we become God. That's the next step. So today I'm gonna continue on with the um, poetry of Saint Kabir, the great mystic Saint Kabir. And in his poetry, he reveals all secrets of spirituality. He reveals the mystery of the path, and he just guides us on the path of love, on the path of Saint Mat, on the path of the masters. This path of Saint Mat, which is the path of the Word. In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. This path of Shabd is complete. Once we reach in our step-by-step growth from religions into yogis and rishis, and then ultimately we seek from the depth of our heart, and we are connected with the word God. And Kabir says that this Shabd is the Guru, and it is complete. It has everything in it: all joy, all bliss, and all happiness. The ocean of love is contained in the Shabd. That there is nothing that has been created that was not created by the Shabd. That this Shabd is the life force. And when we connect ourselves to this life force, then it feeds our soul. And then all our mistakes are erased, all our sins are demolished, and all the stains on our heart, the blackness of the heart, is changed into white, into whiteness, and then ultimately we become spotless. In Kabir's in Kabir's poetry, he talks about the value of initiation after wandering through the alleys of knowledge, and how when he found his master, he became fearless, and the fear of death vanished and ran away from him, and the fear of life went away. As before initiation, we have fear of living. We don't know what's going to happen in the next step. That we are totally living in fear. Most people of this world live in fear. However, the initiated ones, the ones who practice on daily basis, the ones who feed their soul every day, the ones who live in satsang of the masters, of the perfect ones, they lose their fear. They lose the fear of death as they learn how to die on daily basis. Learn how to die so you can begin to live is what the saints and masters teach. They teach us how to die on daily basis, and ultimately how to die at will, not just try to die, but die at will. That means to traverse the inner regions, the inner creation, and we reach levels where we hit the inner music, where we are in the sound of the flute, where Kabir says that the thrill, that the sound of the flute thrills Kabir with joy. And then he talks about the harp of joy. And he's saying, this harp that resounds within, why go outside to listen to it when it is within us? Why go without when it is within? Such a beautiful, beautiful poetry about the secrets of life and what the saints who drink of this nectar talk about their eternal joy, their everlasting joy and unending bliss, unending continuous bliss that cannot be found outside, that is beyond pain and pleasure. There is a bliss. So all the saints and the holy masters have taught us, have taught us that there is something very, very, very beautiful inside of us. And for that, we need the guide of a perfect master like Ishwar Puri Ji, who took seat in our soul and who is leading us towards the land of joy. He says, in order to hear this holy band that is inside of us, the holy band, Hafiz talks about it, that our soul has to become spotless, that we have to clean our soul. That's when when we clean our soul, that's when the music comes. That's when we start to enjoy the continuous, ceaseless music. And this is taught by the saints. So he's also talking in his poetry about the priests and the people who read the Quran and try to teach others, but their heart is not colored with the color of love. And Kabir says, if the heart is not colored with the color of love, what good is it to teach the Puranas, to teach the Vedas, to teach the Quran and the Bible and all the other holy scriptures when our heart is dark? For when our heart is dark, our words have no power. Our words have no power because they have lost the power of love. And whatever we say, it goes in the ear of the person, it goes in one ear and flies from the other ear. And it does not take seat in the heart and soul of the person. But if our heart is colored with the color of love, then our words have behind them the powerhouse of God, the powerhouse of love, and all that Shabd brings, that goes penetrating into the listener's heart, takes a seed there and starts to grow. As our words, when they are imbued with the color of love, they are not dead words, but they are fully alive and fully radiant, fully radiating our Guru, our Master within us, our Shabd, that these words are colored with love. When the words are colored with love, they never vanish. They go away. They never go away. And they even stay from ages to ages. As you can see, all this poetry of Kabir from I forgot, from the 1300s, it's still here resounding with us. Why? Because it's filled with truth. You cannot demolish truth. It's filled with love. You cannot demolish love. Love is the greatest weapon. It conquers all. So he's talking about the priests of this world. And Kabir says that whether I am sitting on a balcony, whether I am in a temple, or whether I am in the garden, the Lord takes delight of me moment by moment. He's talking about how subtle the path of love is. And he's also talking about the secrets. The secret of the path of love is service, service, and service. To serve humanity before self is the secret of the path of love. He is talking about how the saints, when they drink the cup of nectar within from their guru, from their inner master, they have no hesitation to lay their head for their master and serve him day and night. That This cup of nectar, once it is had by the saints, then that's it. Their whole life is given to service of humanity. And moment by moment, their life becomes service. Moment by moment, whatever they do, it becomes worship, worship of the Lord within them, worship of their master. That in the middle of pain and in the middle of joys of the world, they never lose the union between the lover and the beloved. In the middle of joys, they remember their guru, they remember their master. In the middle of pain, they remember their master. They remember their master day and night. When they remember their master, they are breathing the breath of life. They are drinking the water of life that Jesus talks about it. And they are eating the manna of life. They are drinking the nectar of love. They have steeped in the deeps of love. They have plunged in the deeps of love and drink the cup of nectar moment after moment after moment. These are the people who have imbued their heart with the colors of love. And we are all here. We are all here having the inner master with us. The inner master is awakened in us. And we all, what we have to do is just moment by moment take hold of the present. Don't care about the future and forget the past, but in the present, moment by moment, try, the saints say, to drink the water of life. Every breath we take should be God, should be Master, and should be towards that direction. The poetry of Kabir is so inspiring that after I finish reading it, I'm going to share it with everyone. And then you can have it. You can have it and you can refer to it. Just as we refer to the Gurbani every day when Anoop chooses the Shabd for us, and that Gurbani is charged with the words of the saints. It is so vibrated with love, and all the secrets of God are in it that when we start our satsang with the Gurbani, with the darshan of Baba Sawan Singh and my master Sant Thakar and Ishwar ji, take that darshan as real. Take it as real as when I go like this every day and look at Santakar, look at Baba Sawan Singh, and look at Ishwar ji giving us the darshan, it becomes alive. At that moment, it becomes so real. Love flows from reality of the truth. Love flows from truth. And the darshan of Ishwar just penetrates so deep. And then satsang is under his command, is under his control. All the speakers here are his puppets, and he showers his love, he showers his nectar, he showers his mercy on us, and we grow in him day after day after day. Such a great story we have, such a great DVD we have all picked that it has a happy ending at the end. And what is the happy ending? The happy ending, we will all be drinking the nectar from the cup of love served to us by Ishwar Puri ji, by Baba Sawan Singh, by my master Sant Thakar Singh, by Ajayib, Sant Ajayib Singh, and Sant Kirpal Singh. All the saints and masters will serve us that cup of love as they all exist within us. They are all present there and they will serve us the cup of love. That cup of love that they drink from, they will give it to us too. And we will have the same joy, the same bliss that they have day and night. I can't wait for that. I can't wait for the moment that my soul is spotless and is shining and reflecting the Lord moment by moment. That day is the day of the marriage. That day when our soul becomes the white bride of the white beloved. And that day is when we merge. That day is the day we will all dance in front of Baba Sawan Singh. We will all dance in front of Baba Sawan Singh. That day when our soul is spotless, when we are unattached, when our ego is erased, and we only, our tongue utters the glory of the Master. When our tongue only utters the glory and sings for the Master, it leaves all other things away. It leaves all things that are not from the Master's cup away. All violence, all ugliness of this world, it does not talk about it and does not allow the eyes to see it or the ears to hear it. That we will only hear godly things. We will only read godly things. We will only keep adding Master to our heart moment by moment. That is the true life. That is the true life of the true disciple of the true Master. True life of the true disciple of the true Master is all love. So let's now enjoy uh, the words of Kabir, and I will read his poetry, and I hope you will enjoy. All right. First poem. Dear friend, I am eager to meet my beloved. Me too. My youth has flowered, and the pain of my separation from him troubles my breast. I am wandering, yet in the alleys of knowledge without purpose, but I have received his news in these alleys of knowledge. I have a letter from my beloved. In this letter is an unutterable message. And now my fear of death is gone away. Kabir says, "O my loving friend, I have got for my gift the deathless one. I have got for my gift the deathless one." Another poem. When I imparted from my beloved, my heart is full of misery. I have no comfort in the day. I have no sleep. In the night, to whom shall I tell my pain, my sorrow? The night is dark, the hours slip by. Because my Lord is absent, I start up and tremble with fear. Kabir says, listen, my friend, there is no other satisfaction save in the encounter with the beloved. The saints cannot sleep at night. If the inner master does not show up, their heart is in pain. And he is saying, to whom shall I tell my pain? Nobody will understand my pain. As if you tell your pain to your worldly family or to your worldly friends, they will not understand. They will not understand a thing. That pain of separation can only be understood by those whose hearts have been pierced with the arrow of love. Those people understand the pain of separation. You can tell them that your pain, but not the worldly people. They will not understand. I have tried also. They don't understand. Okay. What is that flute whose music thrills me with joy? The flame burns without a lamp. The lotus blossoms without a root. Flowers bloom in clusters. The moonbird is devoted to the moon. What all its heart the rainbird longs, with all its heart the rainbird longs for the shower of rain. But upon whose love does the lover concentrate his entire life? Okay, another poem. Have you not heard the tune which the unstruck music is playing in the midst of the chamber The harp of joy is gently and sweetly played. And where is the need of going without to hear it? Here he's talking, why should we go outside to hear that gentle, unstruck music of the harp of joy? If you have not drunk of the nectar of that one love, what boosts it though you should purge yourself of all stains? He's saying if we have not drunk of that nectar of love, then we have to purge our heart of all the stains and make it white. The Qazi is searching the words of the Quran and instructing others, but if his heart, the Qazi, but the, and instructing others, but if his heart be not steeped in that love, what does it avail? Though he be a teacher of men, the yogi dyes his garment with red. But if he knows not of that color of love, what does it avail? Though his garments be tinted, though his garments be tinted, Kabir says, whether I be in the temple or the balcony, in the camp or in the flower garden, I tell you truly that every moment my Lord is taking his delight in me. Wow. When Kabir says that once we become pure, God will run after us. We do not have to run after God like we do now. He will run after us. Okay, another point. Subtle is the path of love. Therein there is no asking and not sorry. Subtle is the path of love. Therein there is no asking and no asking and no not asking. There one loses oneself at his feet. There one is immersed in the joy of the seeking, plunged in the deeps of love as the fish in the water. The lover is never slow in offering his head for his Lord's service. Wow, that is a great, great, beautiful poem of plunging in the deeps of love. Kabir declares the secret of this love. He is the real sadhu who can reveal the form of the formless to the vision of these eyes, who teaches the simple way of attaining him. This is other than rites or ceremonies. Who does not make you close the doors and hold the breath and renounce the world? Who makes you perceive the Supreme Spirit wherever mind attaches itself? Who teaches you to sit still in the midst of all your activities? I love that. To sit still in the midst of all activities, ever immersed in bliss, having no fear in his mind. He keeps the spirit of union in the midst. He keeps the spirit of union in the midst of all enjoyments. The infinite dwelling of the infinite being is everywhere. The infinite dwelling of the infinite being is everywhere. In earth, water, sky, and air. Firm as the thunderbolt, the seat of the seeker is established above the void. Wow. Okay, I have to read that again. That was so good. The infinite dwelling of the infinite being is everywhere in earth, water, sky, and air. Firm as the thunderbolt, the seat of the seeker is established above the void, above the void. He who is within is without. I see him and none else. Kabir only sees his master in everything. Okay, another poem. Receive that word receive that word from which the universe springeth. That word is the Guru. I have heard it and became the disciple. How many are there who know the meaning of that word? How many are there who know the meaning of that word? Very few. O Sadhu, practice that word. The Vedas and the Puranas proclaim it. The world is established in it. The rishis and the devotees speak of it, but none knows the mystery of the word. The householder leaves his house when he hears it. The ascetic comes back to love when he hears it. The six philosophies expound it. The spirit of renunciation points to that word. From that word, the world form has sprung. That word reveals all, Kabir says. That word reveals all, Kabir says. But who knows whence the word cometh? Wow. He's just talking about the Shabd, that no people read about it in the religions, even in the Sikh religion, that the full teachings of all the masters talks about the Shabds, yet none know what the Shabd means. Very few know what the Shabd means. Kabir says, empty the cup, oh be drunken, drink the divine nectar of his name. Wow, drink the divine nectar of his name. Kabir says, listen to me, dear Sadhu, from the sole of the foot to the crown of the head, this mind is filled with poison. Our mind is the opposite of God, as Kabir is saying. So we have to polish it, we have to clean it with the Shabd. O man, if thou dost not know thine own Lord, whereof art thou so proud? If you don't know the Lord, why are you so proud? Put thy cleverness away. Mere words shall never unite thee to him. Whereof art thou so proud? Put cleverness away. Mere words shall never unite thee to him. Do not deceive thyself with the witness of the scriptures. Love is something other than this, and he who has sought it truly has found it. Whoever did the seeking from the depth of the heart, the Guru appears in his life. He has found it. Okay. The savor of wandering in the ocean of deathless life has ridden me of all my asking. As the tree is in the seed, so all diseases are in this asking. I don't understand this poem very good. Maybe Dr. Chand or somebody can explain it later. Oh, okay. When at last you are come to the ocean of happiness, do not go back thirsty. Wake, foolish one, for death stalks you. He is pure water before you. Drink it at every breath. Do not follow the mirage on foot, but thirst for the nectar. Durva, in the name of somebody, Prahlad and Sukadev have drunk of it. Also, Redas has tasted it. The saints are drunk with love. The saints are drunk with love. Their thirst is for love. Wow, the saints are drunk with love. Their thirst is for love. How better can it get, this poetry? I swear. We are getting drunk just on reading this poetry. The saints are drunk with love. Their thirst is for love. Kabir says, listen to me, brother. The nest of fear is broken. Wow. Listen to me, oh brother. The nest of fear is broken. Not for a moment have you come face to face with the world. You are weaving your bondage of falsehood. Your words are full of deception. With the load of desires which you hold on your head, how can you be light? He is asking the worldly person who has all these desires on his mind, how can you be light if you are full of bondages, desires, and attachments? Kabir says, keep within you truth, detachment, and love. Kabir says, keep within you truth, detachment, and love. Very, 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 very beautiful, deep words that within us we should be keep detachment, love, and truth. All right, another poem. Who has ever taught the widowed wife to burn herself on the pyre of her dead husband? And who has ever taught love to find bliss in renunciation? Why so impatient, my heart? He who watches over birds, beasts, and insects, he who cared for you whilst you were yet in your mother's womb, shall not care for you now that you are come forth, O my heart. How could you turn from the smile of your Lord and wander so far from within him? You have left your beloved and are thinking of others, and this is why all your work is in vain. Now hard it is to meet the Lord. Now the rainbird wails in the thirst for the rain. Almost she dies of her longing, yet she would have none other water than the rain, drawn by the love of the music. All right. I think it's enough for today.
He has not come to judge you. He has come because of your seeking to go home. Period. When he comes and accepts you, and he says, I will take you back home, we'll go together. Truthfully, your journey is ended right there. The rest of the task is for the master, not yours. If you live your life as if everything you're doing is part of your meditation, the result will be the same. Somebody asked my master, great master Baba Sawan Singh, asked him, Master, how much meditation is really necessary? Because they say we read some instructions, they say 2.5 hours of meditation should be done every 24 hours. Great master said, if you do 2.5 hours of some spiritual activity you call meditation, and 21.5 hours in other activities, where will it go? It's totally unbalanced. The man said, then how much should we do? He said, if you want effective results, you should do 21.5 hours of meditation and 2.5 hours of other things. He says, Master, how can one do that? One has to survive, one has to work, one has to eat, sleep. He said, no, this method is very simple. He explained how you can do 21.5 hours of meditation. He says, meditation is not merely repeating words or listening to sound or remembering something or closing your eyes. Meditation is to meditate upon something, to remember something, to think about something. Supposing while you are working on a job, you're thinking about the master he's given you as a job. And every step you take, master's done this. You're meditating. As effectively as you would close your eyes and try to go in the third eye center. Because you are now depending upon what the master has achieved. You're getting it from there, not with your effort. So when you're eating, cooking, walking, talking, every time you're thinking, master is there. Your thoughts are all on master. It's like meditation. All day you can meditate. Except when some such difficult problems comes which require more of your normal attention, and you can't think of Master at that time. And great Master said, that's hardly ever more than 2.5 hours. You can devote that outside of your meditation. What about sleep? He said you should do your repetition, Simran, thinking of Master, remembering him, for at least half an hour before you sleep. If you do that and then go to sleep, you will be meditating all night. People who do Simran or repetition of words, when they sleep while doing it, if in the middle of the night they wake up, they're still doing it. The mind gets habituated. The mind picks up a habit of repeating. Good enough, that's meditation. So if all night can be meditation, all day meditation, except the 2.5 hours we have to apply to some intellectual problem, that's 21.5 hours of meditation. Master explained that should be life. Then you can expect that the balance is all in favor of your spiritual activity and not your worldly activity. These are tips given to us from time to time that make it easier to understand that meditation is not the same what we think it is. That's a struggle to sit inside. Because when we struggle too much, the mind struggles equally much. We have given power to our own minds, our own thinking machines, as if they are independent of us, and we have to fight them. Who are we fighting? A machine that we are empowered ourselves? That's what we are fighting with. But when you start making use of the machine, put the meditation into it, make it think about these things, then it works to your favor. The other thing that can be done is that the mind likes pleasure of every kind. It seeks pleasure. It also likes variety of pleasure. If you keep on feeding the same thing, you say, no, not enough, now I want something else. This is the nature of the mind, to seek pleasure. If you can give that pleasure inside in meditation, the mind turns around, and instead of being an enemy of yours in meditation, becomes a friend of yours. That's another way. You will notice that when you can have wonderful experiences inside, and so many more exist inside than outside, and the mind gets attached to them, it becomes a very good friend of yours. Let's meditate. Instead of saying, oh, there's no time for meditation. Oh, I'm too tired. I'll do it tomorrow. The mind itself can change. These are great tips that have been given to us. I would like to take up a few questions that have been written up. I believe that you have some questions? Okay, these are 5 questions and 1 extra thing in the middle. I'll take up one by one. What is the difference between dream world and astral world? The dream world is a lower state of consciousness and looks, when you wake up, looks much less real than the wakeful world. The astral world is more real than the physical world. When you back here, you know that you visited a more real world. There's a difference between the 2 levels. The dream world creates laws of nature of a dream world which are different from the laws of the physical world, but they destroy your free will completely. With no knowledge of the future, and yet you have no free will in a dream. In a dream, you are swiftly moving from one scene to another, and although you think this will happen like that, things just move across as if a pre-programmed scene is going on. In the physical world, which looks more real because the free will looks very real. In the astral world, although you lose free will, but you can see the future, so you know how it is programmed. Big difference between the dream world and astral world. Question number 2. What happens to dream ego when we wake up? Ego is always the same, because the self is always the same. You might notice that when you are awake, you know who you are based on your physical body, name given to your physical body. That's who you are. In the dream, your face can change, your body can change. You are still the same who was when he was awake. You are in that body. Chinese philosopher Fa Hin dreamt that he was a butterfly. And he was flying with his wings flapping from flower to flower. He knew they are no ordinary flowers, they were emitting light, colored lights. He knew he was up in heaven or in a higher state. And as a butterfly, he went all over, looking at the beautiful heavenly garden. And then he woke up. And he thought to himself, am I really Fa Hin, the philosopher, who had a dream that I was a butterfly? Or am I really a butterfly? Because that is more real. And now I'm dreaming that I am Fa Hin, a philosopher. So he told his friends. I had a very strange dream in which I was not my physical body, I was a butterfly. And I was flying around. The friend said, how could it be you? You're not a butterfly. You don't look like a butterfly. How could you imagine that's you? You should say in a dream you saw a butterfly. He said, I never saw a butterfly. I was flying. I was flying. I was flapping my wings. You will notice the self is exactly the same, whether you are awake or you're in a dream or you are in an astral plane or a causal plane or you discover your soul, self will never change. In fact, if you ask me, is there anything that never changes? The only thing I can think of is the self. It never changes. Experiences keep on changing. All of them change. The self that is experiencing them never changes. So one has to remember that the ego or the I-ness or the self, which appears like I-ness at this stage and appears like an ego in the dream, is always the same. Question number 3. You stated astral body lasts up to 3,000 years and mind lasts millions of years. By what means was it measured and where was it documented? It was measured when you could remember the past. There is no other measurement. If you can remember a past, supposing somebody comes and says, I remember exactly where I was 100 years ago. But I say, you are only 40 years old. How could you remember 100 years ago? I remember very clearly. We will say, he has a memory of a past life. How could he remember? People go through past life regressions. And the people who do that to them, they take them back through memory and take them back into the area before their birth, and they can still recollect them. Psychiatrists were surprised because psychiatrists were trying to solve mental problems of their patients. And several cases, these are documented, in several cases where they told them what happened to you as a child, because the assumption was many of the children's problems, childhood problems, are buried in our subconscious, and they create problems in adulthood. And if we can bring them out and make an adult remember the childhood problem, the problem disappears because it was highly exaggerated when you were a child. And when you are grown up, it looks like a simple thing. By bringing it to your awareness, you are able to cure that person. This is a psychiatric method. And they were recalling, in several instances documented, they were able to ask about children. Then they began to talk of things when they were still adults before that, as it would look backwards. So there is no actual measurement in that sense. But the measurement of an astral life is based upon how far you can remember. You can remember several lifetimes of yours in that state. And therefore, when you calculate on an average of the people who are having their experiences, it's anything from 1,000 to 3,000 of physical years. And by the way, physical years do not mean that the same years apply there. Time is very different. It can be modified a lot. Time, the very nature of time is different in these areas. But we are talking of something that if I'm sitting here, you are sitting here, and we have an astral self in us. Was the astral self pre-existing before we were born? Will the astral self stay on after we die? Most likely, yes, because their life term is much longer. So these are the averages, 1,000 to 3,000 years. And the mind has an average of several million years. And this is, with one mind, we can carry on for so many astral lives and so many physical lives of different forms. The mind has such a long life in order to carry Sinchit karma. If the mind did not have such a millions of years of life, there would be no sinchit karma, a reservoir sitting upon it of so many lifetimes. So that is why there may be indirect evidence, but the people who practice this and go there, they can see how much time of physical time is available in those areas. But time is not exactly the same in those areas. It's just a comparison with what would be here. Because we come here carrying the same mind. And you say, how old is the mind? How old is your mind? Are you a recent entry into this physical world, or have you been coming here going over and over again? Masters can very often tell us that, because they can see the whole picture. When we go before a perfect living master, and he looks at us, what is he looking at as a human being? Is he looking at our face and seeing who we are, what we look like? No, he doesn't look at that. He looks at the entire picture of our journeys in these areas. And he can see the whole of the sinchit karma we are carrying, the baggage we are carrying. He acts appropriately according to what we are carrying. And he sees that. And he acts in our life according to what he has seen carrying in the various lives and various forms of life, including the life of a mind, life of an astral self, life of a physical self. So I cannot say that this is a physical activity to say that there's a mind's life. You have to go into the mind. You can't say that we can judge sitting here in the physical body and say how much is astral life unless you know what is astral life. Astral world, astral life is different from physical world and physical life. Go there, you'll yourself discover how much you can remember, how much you can update, and knowledge of different kinds is available there, which is not available here, even about this subject. For if mind lasts millions of years, why would it disappear then? It will disappear when it dies. It doesn't disappear before that. The mind never disappears. Some people think that when we transcend the mind, it disappears. It doesn't disappear. We transcend. We go beyond. When we are sleeping at night, to take an example that we all have experience with, when we sleep at night, we go into a dream body. That is not this physical body. The dream body, we move around. During that period, this physical body has not disappeared. It is sleeping. It's still there. When we wake up, we reconnect with the physical body in the same place where we left it for going into a dream. Same thing is true of the mind. When we are able to, through meditation, through these different procedures in a human life, go beyond the mind, it does not mean the mind has disappeared. It does not mean the body has disappeared. It does not mean that these sense perceptions have disappeared. We have gone beyond them into a new experience of consciousness. And that experience can be continuous. We can come back into all these again and talk about two other friends of ours here. So it's like an experience. So nothing really disappears. Also, I must say something about appearance and disappearance. Is the future there or is it not there right now? If it is there, then we already know what it is, we just go to the future. Is the past gone, finished, disappeared, or is it still there? The past is still there. You can go back into the past and see the events you've already passed through. Egyptians made it well known that they could time travel. I've read about it, that the Egyptians, pharaohs especially, the pharaohs knew how to time travel, and they could go in time backwards or forwards. They could see what was going to happen in the future by just going there and coming back. And I thought to myself, well, what are we doing? We are time traveling all the time. We are all time traveling right now. We are going from one moment to another, one event to another. That's time travel. Events are not traveling, we are traveling. When we create the physical world, time is a timeline. It's all infinite timeline. Events have been placed on that timeline. We are time traveling on that timeline through our consciousness and going from one event to another. This is time travel. They don't disappear. Neither the future has disappeared nor the past has disappeared. And that brings me to a very subtle point, which is difficult to comprehend But I want to still tell you. We say we are passing through time. We are all sure. Why? I was here at a certain time. I saw my watch. I said, yes, I came at 3, suddenly 4. I have spent an hour here. I experienced time. So did you all. But can we really experience time? What is time as we know it? It consists of past, present, and future. Supposing this past, present, and future is not there, there is no time. What has happened already is past. What's happening now is present. What is going to happen is future. Okay, when I say now, was it past or was it present? Before I said it was future. The moment I started uttering it was past. Where was present? Some people tell me there's a nice book, Live in the Now. I said, where are we living? I want to meet anybody who's not living in the now. We are all living in the now. Every time that we say we are living, we are in the now. And look at it, now has no time at all. Now is a meeting point without time between future and past. It has no duration at all, not even a nanosecond. A nanosecond makes it past. How come we are all experiencing something and it doesn't exist? We are experiencing time in now, and now has no time. Okay, then let us say what is past. Past is what has gone already, and how do we know it has gone already? How do we know something is already gone? From memory. There's no other way. The only way to know there is a past is through memory. If you have no memory, there will be no past. Now, if the past, even when I say now, it goes to past. What I am calling present is merely recent past. It's not really technically now. Now is zero time. It's recent past I am calling present. It's also past. So present, what we call present, is past. What has already gone is past. What about future? Supposing our minds cannot use 3 functions: hope, fear, anticipation. If it cannot hope for anything, it cannot be afraid of anything, cannot anticipate anything, there will be no future. Do you know we are creating future by these functions in the mind? And when do these functions take place? In the so-called present, which is past. Future is also past. The truth is that future, past, and present, which we think is time, is all past. Think over it. It's all past. Only recoverable through memory. The truth is we are living a life recalling memory in a very living way, and we call it life. So it becomes so easy. Once you know that this is a game of recalling memory, stored memory, in the causal plane, where the Akashic records exist, we just install in our mind a DVD, a set of memories, and come here and live our life and think this is our destiny. It's just a little capsule, not visible, placed in the mind. You call it DVDs, that we are playing a DVD, and that's our life. And there is no time involved. Time is being created by our memory. These are memory chips that are creating life. Now, if you want to verify what I'm saying, go and check out how the memory chips are created. That's another thing. How do you create so many different kind of destinies? If we believe that we are souls and have not been here all the time, we just came for a little experience, how did karma come about? We had no time at all to have any intention or action, and we land up here with karma. How did that happen? It happened because we picked up a DVD which included one life, memory, experience of memory, and several previous lives to create that one life through karma. We never went through that karma. We came for one life, and as soon as we entered, there was a past life. Because you could not have the first life, even one life, without a past life. So that is why it's so interesting to know that we came for a little trip, and got caught up in a very strange trap where the little trip had to be created by cause and effect. And the cause was somewhere else. Somebody said, do you come for one life? I said, true. Then why do you talk of previous lives? Because they were notional lives to create one life. They were required to create one life. And that is why we picked up those. But once we stayed there, we began to create real future lives for ourselves here. Then our past lives began to accumulate. And when we go back, the whole thing will be ended here. This show, DVD play, is not going into a true home at all. It's for local play here. And you say that how can the mind disappear? Mind does not disappear, time disappears. Mind is still there, the creator of his experience in time, but time as we know it disappears. And we can't describe anything that's beyond time because all understanding is through the mind. If I were to tell you a truth, I'm just going to make a truthful statement that in a place close to our true home within us, there is a zero-dimensional spot. It has got zero volume, zero space, zero time. And there's vast amount of islands in it. Make any sense? If it is zero, how can it have vast amount of... But the truth. This truth the mind can never understand. Because the mind can never understand anything that exists in zero time and zero space. The mind only functions in time and space. It creates time and space and functions in time and space. That is why these problems we can't understand with our mind. We can experience them. You can actually have a conscious experience of zero time, zero space, but cannot understand it. And when you have that experience, you cannot explain it to anybody. Who am I trying to explain something that cannot be explained? But you can experience it within yourself. Then you rise above the mind. Your life is all in total zero time, zero space. It's not been created yet. So time and space have been created very differently than we are experiencing it. The whole of time and the whole of space is created in one single timeless moment before we enter. All events, all places, all things are placed on it at once. We go through time and space travel, and that's how we have those experiences. Nothing disappears when we in a physical body have these experiences. Everything is intact. Actually, when I say you can go to your true home, you don't really go to your true home. Because if you went to your true home, everything would disappear. Nothing would be left. You are able to have the experience of your true home while you're in a physical body. Because that apparatus to have the glimpses of all these levels of consciousness exists inside our own head, right here as a physical body. Just like we say these are energy centers, the great master who was explaining those 18 centers of the higher levels, they are also available in the physical body, in the head. When we move our attention within the head to those centers, we get the glimpses and awareness of those places. But we are still in the physical body. Physical body doesn't die. It's alive, and all the experiences are happening while we are still here. Nothing disappears. But we can have the entire experiences which would come if everything disappeared. Question. I have read elsewhere, dream body after death lasts 5.5 years, the time we spend dreaming in our lifetime. Sounds logical. Is it true? By that calculation, that if we add up how much dreaming we do during a physical life and how much we have experienced as a dream body, it's correct. There's just an addition of your experiences of all the dreams in a lifetime, average lifetime. So that is correct. Question number 5. We have a conscious mind. We know we have a subconscious mind. Then we must have superconscious mind. Can you elaborate on it? Yes. In our scripture, they describe Pindi Man, which is physical mind, Andi Man, which is astral mind, Brahmandi Man, which is causal mind. mind is functioning differently in different forms of the covers we are having on ourselves. The Pindi mind, the physical mind, at this level, regards physical reality as absolute. It cannot recognize any other reality. If we describe any other reality, it can think of it, imagine it, speak about it, but cannot experience it. No way. It's yet the same mind. As a physical mind, is confined to physical experience as a reality. The Andi mind is similarly situated. When we are there, only the astral plane is real, everything else is unreal. And no way can the mind accept anything else. The Brahmandi mind, causal mind, is the mind, ourself, and therefore the mind believes it's the self, and that belief creates all experiences there, and it does not believe, it cannot believe that the Andi mind or the Pindi mind can exist. It's the only one that creates its reality. The question is, what is real? If the mind creates reality at different levels, and these three functions of the mind are creating realities, then there is the subconscious mind, even below the conscious human mind. So I have mentioned two other superconscious minds, which are the astral and the causal minds. But even within the human conscious mind, the subconscious mind, it stores all your karma, all your actions, everything that you do is being stored. Nothing ever leaves us. No experience of ours ever leaves us. It has got a storage. The subconscious mind is a storage for all events that have happened. And what we say, I forgot. You never forget. You forget in the conscious mind, it goes into the subconscious mind. Some things we try to forget. So they lie in the upper level of the subconscious mind and push us from below, causing problems in our daily life without knowing what the cause of the problem is. They are acting from the subconscious mind. So subconscious mind is that of which we are not conscious. They also call it the unconscious mind. The subconscious mind or the unconscious mind is a storehouse of all memories, all events that are happening, and they can be pulled back again. And some of these things we do pull back from subconscious mind. In regression, past life regression pulls out from the subconscious mind. Memories of past life, we don't know about them, we can't believe them because we were not born then, we were not alive then. Subconscious mind can throw them up as memories still stored in it. The subconscious mind, like the rest of the mind, the total mind, whether it's subconscious, conscious, superconscious, more superconscious, no matter where it is, it's a storehouse of memories which can be awakened and made into a life form. So these are remarkable. Let's try today meditation behind the eyes with love and devotion, where you visualize your beloved and you express your love to the beloved in the best way you can and see the results of it. Please assume that your body is your house and you are sitting on the 6th floor of that house behind the eyes. First, establish yourself in the meditation chamber behind the eyes, then visualize your beloved, then start any kind of meditation you want, including Simran, listening to the sound, or conversation with the Master.